Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Monmouth College, April Zorn Memorial Stadium on the campus of Monmouth College in Monmouth, Illinois. It is the Illinois 8-Man Football Association State Championship game, the West Central Heat and the Amboy Clippers. I'm Dwayne Hulett. We'll have several different people on throughout this pregame show, and we are super pumped to be here at Monmouth tonight for TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH coverage of the state championship game for the I8FA Association. Great football has been played all this postseason, and we're just about ready to go with some phenomenal state championship football action live from Monmouth College. The way this will work is we'll have our live stream set up right here for the pregame show. We've got Pat Elder from Ridgewood. We've got interviews with Coach Payne and Coach Kirby. We got Kyle Kampmeyer from NUIC Football on YouTube. Got some highlights, got all kinds of great stuff to bring you here in the pregame show. We got to get going because we've got a lot to do before 6:30. We'll be on with a different stream for the football game at 6:45. Jeff Borders and myself will be on a call for that. We'll take our first very quick break, and we'll be back with Coach Pat Elder from Ridgewood in just a couple minutes.
It was the community that really drew me back to Macomb. I'm from a small community, and I'm from a farm family, and ultimately I always wanted to practice in a place like that, and I felt that I had the ability to connect to people who with a similar background from me, and the fact that the staff members at the hospital and the support, all the support staff at the hospital was also focused with the goal of patient care. It felt like it just all came hammered at home for me.
And welcome back here to April Zorn Memorial Stadium. Coach Pat Elder from Ridgewood, first year.
Yes,
and you guys had a pretty decent year.
Yeah, had a great year really for our kids. And in all of our communities, we're a co-op. We've got 3 towns that make up Cambridge, Alpha, and Woodhall. Cambridge and Alwood high schools that make up our thing, and it was great for everybody involved. Like I said, it kind of brought all 3 communities together, brought a lot of energy, and most importantly, our youngsters had a great experience.
You've got a lot of success and experience at 11-man level. I've talked to more and more 11-man guys that are really learning to love the 8-man thing. What was it that said, for you, that said, we have to do this?
Well, our school decided we were doing it, which was great. That part of it was fine. Once I got involved, my focus was just to try and make it a good experience for our kids at that point. And so this was my first year as the head coach there, and so we went and just implemented the things that your basic tenets are the same. There are differences, but you got to be able to block. You got to be able to tackle. And so that was our focus. You know, we kind of broke some things down to the bare guts of it and how you do it, and started from there. And the first meeting I had with our kids in the spring, I talked about. I said, I'm going to change everything. So I'm going to change the way you block. I'm going to change the way you tackle. I'm going to change the way you train. I said we're going to change the way we play because we're going from 11 to 8. And I said I'm excited about it. And I said that's what we're going to do. So we're going to attack this. And to our kids' credit, that's what they did. They were great. They were really. I mean, you know, sometimes when you're instituting new things and changing things, you're right, you get a little pushback, and we just didn't get any at all. Our kids tried to do what we asked them to do, and then as the season went on, I thought that was why we continued. We got so much better as the year went on, and it was because of their eagerness to take on what we were asking them to do.
Well, you know, being an 11-man guy, what has been your take going from I8FA to working with the coaches and the ADs of the Illinois 8-Man Football Association? They seem to get along really well.
Yeah, been great. And I was fortunate. With Mr. Lawler, the godfather there, I've worked with John for a long time, and so I know him well, and he knows me well. So that relationship was there. So you know, there was no feeling out. We both knew how the other was going to kind of want to operate and do things. So that helped a lot in getting our foot in. And then Coach Kirby and I have known each other since we were 17 years old. He's one of my dearest, oldest friends. And so he goes, I'll help you for 8 weeks. You know, he says, I'll help you anytime I can for 8 weeks. And he did. And so once we were in and once we were involved in it, I said, hey, what do you give me some boxes to check? And he said, he goes, start on defense. He said, that's where it's different. He said, just figure out what you're going to do there defensively and just have a plan. He goes, because offense, he says, it's different, but he goes, you can do what you want to do. He says, you're a wing T guy. I imagine that's what you're going to figure out how to do. He says, I'm a triple guy. That's what we do. And he goes, and spread guys kind of figure out what they do. He says, but defensively, he says, just some things that you're really used to over time aren't there anymore. He says, so you got to figure out how you're going to cover up some stuff. So start there. And that was a huge help. And we didn't talk offense till July. I mean, we spent, because it was just every time, right? It's kind of like a house of cards. Every time you thought you had it defensively, something fell apart. And really, I still don't know if we figured that part out, but I know weeks 9, 10, and 11, we thought we got a few answers schematically that helped us and kept us playing. Almost kept us playing a little longer.
So, as you look back at this first year and you coming from 11-man, some school boards, parents, or coaches that question whether 8-man is legit or 8-man is what they need to do, what would you say to them?
Come to a game. Come to a bowl. So my father was a head coach for a long time and has been very involved with things in Illinois and high school football. And when they, 4 or 5 years ago when it was starting, they talked about 8-man, and I had never really watched much of it. He says, after 5 minutes, you're watching a football game. I says, well, he goes, after 5 minutes, you're watching a football game. And I remember the first game I saw was the first time Polo won it. I believe it was Polo Milford. That's the first 8-man game I saw live. And, Polo was in the eye and had that tailback that is still running, I think. And Milford had a good receiver and was in the spread and was slinging around him and hung around for a little bit because of that. But after 5 minutes, I was watching a football game, and so that helped. That was part of my approach. But to the people that don't quite understand what it is, I would, talk to our kids, talk to our community, but most importantly, just go take in a game, because I know some youngsters in Ridgewood that I believe had a pretty positive experience. We're very excited about it, and I think we've got some young kids that are excited to continue with it. And that's what you're looking for, is to generate interest in the sport.
I mean, there's 3 less guys on each side, but everything else is the same. I mean, they hit, they run hard, they play hard. Nothing is different, really, outside of taking 3 players off each side.
If you know what, I knew we were making progress. They came out and did an interview. One of the news stations did early in the season with the group of our kids, and I heard one of our players. They asked him, he goes, "Ball's ball," and again, that's been a line we've used with our players is ball's ball, and so yeah, it's the same game. The difference in physicality isn't in the physicality of the 16 guys you got out there playing. I mean, those guys hit, they tackle, they're aggressive, they block, all of those things. I guess as I thought about it, kind of the difference physicality-wise was 6 less bodies, you just get less awkward roll-ups. You don't have as many piles where you got a bunch of guys just running in and collapsing on each other. And with the size schools you have, where an injury is pretty significant to what's going on, right. I think removing of that physicality is good.
Which is really wasted or unneeded physicality almost, right?
That's a great way to put it. That's a great way to put it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the football is football, and some of my guys that whether they be the ones delivering the hit or carrying the ball, they would not be. What do you mean it's less physical? And again, the play itself is not less physical. Just the removal of the bodies eliminates some wear and tear that, like you said, is kind of needless wear and tear anyway at that point.
Now, Coach Unruh helps at West Central, and he's obviously as big of an 11-man guy as you're ever going to see. Now he's kind of the 3 yards in a cloud of dust kind of 11-man. Well, not really. I mean, he ran that kind of offense, but it never seemed to be that way, right? But at any rate,
me and Coach Unruh are on the same page.
He loves this. I talked to him before the first-round playoff game, and he said it's so awesome because you're 5 yards closer to everything, right? Even on the sideline, you're 5 yards closer to everything. He goes, you're right on top of all that action. He says, and it's so fast and so much fun. He said he loves it. It's amazing how many of you guys that have been around 11-man and been so successful in 11-man, and your dad and Coach Lawler, all these guys you talk to have been so successful in 11-man. They absolutely love 8-man.
Coach Unruh ended my sophomore season of high school. It was his second year at Carthage, and they beat us in the playoffs. So that was my introduction to Coach Unruh. I think it was 14-7, but I don't know. Dad knows.
14-7?
14-7 or 12-7. That was yeah. All right.
Sorry.
That was a score. So, but that was my introduction to Coach Unruh. And actually, I went to camps with his dad. So I've known Coach a long time. And then being a wing T guy, I've spent a lot of time with Coach Unruh. And so I would, yes. I mean, I'm no Jim Unruh. I don't mean it that way. But as far as my takes on it, he's absolutely right. Is it so you're right there, you're in the action, you can figure out what you want to do. Your kids are in the action, and it just the 5 yards closer to everything, he's right. Like you're able to have conversations that during an 11-man game, you got a lot of our signal for our kids was always that meant they couldn't hear us, and I don't know.
Now you have to worry about the other side hearing
exactly.
you. Right?
Yeah. Well, they can always hear me anyway. But your ability to communicate that way, you can do some stuff schematically because of it that makes it fun. But it is fast paced because of you're missing that layer defensively. But it's. Coach Unruh spent his entire time as head coach in Carthage. Granted, they became Illini West, but right, he's a small town guy. My dad's a small town guy. I'm a small town guy. All those different things that take what Coach Lawler's done to keep football at Hebron is just amazing. And so, what this has allowed communities of our size to do is stay involved in their schools and it brings a level of energy and excitement that some of these schools haven't had in a while, and it brings some participation that they haven't had in a while. Not because it's easier, but because kids believe they have a better opportunity. And I know for us, I was fortunate enough to be an assistant at our place the last 2 years in 11-man, and because of our numbers, our younger kids. It couldn't have been much fun to play football because they had to help prep the varsity. Some of them were forced into action they probably weren't ready for. Whereas in 8-man, we're able to run 2 levels this year because we had good numbers. So we ran 2 levels. Our kids all got to play. They signed up to play football, and they all got to play, and they got to go into their younger level games prepared, which I thought we saw results for them because of that. But you can just confidence is powerful, and so. The ability to do those things, and again, when you're able, small town life's a good life, and so when you're able to energize those things and give those communities a reason to breathe, they're there. And like I said, we had 6 home games because we were fortunate enough to be home for our 2 playoff games. We had an unbelievable crowd at all 6 of them. It was great.
I can tell you that the West Central communities, the Amboy communities, they don't care today that this is 8-man or 11-man. They're just happy that their football teams are at state championship game, right?
Exactly. That's the goal.
Well, Coach Elder, I appreciate you coming by and talking to us. You blame Coach Lawler for being on here.
Appreciate your guys' coverage all year long. I watched a lot of them. Thanks a lot.
Hey, not a problem. We'll be back with actually some highlights from last week's Polo West Central game. We're not even going to talk over that. I just saved the audio. You'll have to listen to me on that too, but it was a good one.
It was unbelievable.
It was fun. So we're going to let you listen to that when we come back after a commercial break. Then we'll have the Coach Kirby interview, and then we'll be into some Amboy highlights and Coach Payne interview, and then we'll have Nathan, the SID from Monmouth College, on, and then Kyle after that. So we got a lot of stuff to go yet here on the pregame show on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH, live from April Zorn Memorial Stadium on the campus of Monmouth College in Monmouth, Illinois. We'll be right back.
I see acute injuries on the field. I see ankle sprains. I see ACL knee injuries, as well as in the clinic. It's very rewarding to see them from on-the-field injury to rehab to transition back to their event.
At Western Illinois University, Leathernecks don't just blend in. Our purple stands out. Our students are innovative, creative, and resilient. At WIU, there is limitless potential, with campuses in Macomb, the Quad Cities, and online. Visit wiu.edu/potential to become a Leatherneck and get an education that stands out.
Okay, so you're at this end. And the I formation again. The tight end's near side this time. One far and one near, and it's going to be Drosty up the middle. He's going to break it outside, and he might be gone. From the 28, he's going to score. The first touchdown of the game goes to Caden Drosty and the West Central Heat, and they lead 6-0 with 11:01 to go in quarter number one. A 28-yard touchdown run for Caden Drosty.
Salto took over the quarterback spot about halfway through the season. About week 4 against Milledgeville when they really started to go to him, kind of the Wildcat formation.
Salto on the carry. He's got some running room, and he's going to go from the 43, and just like that, anything you can do, I can do better. A one-play drive for Polo, and the Marcos tie it at 6-6 with 10:50 remaining, an entire 11 seconds if run off the clock, if my memory serves me correctly, and it's tied at 6.
He's lightning
Down here, they'll pick up the pace or start throwing the ball a little bit, but they probably don't want to do that and give the – and Drosty rounds the corner, breaks a tackle. He might go. He breaks another tackle. He's at the 10, 5,
go.
Touchdown, Caden Drosty. And who needs timeouts? A 40-yard touchdown run.
Going to spread them out here a little bit.
Both teams have scored a touchdown. The key is the Heat got their two-point conversion. Marcos did not. Soldo is going to spin around, and he's going to go in from 14 yards out, or 18 yards out, excuse me. We
have seen one
punted
punt.
once with Drosty punting. Other than that, those are the 3 stops the entire game. Handoff's going to go to Drosty, and he's going to get in.
And he bowls over Lindas at the goal line.
Drosty gets the 2-point conversion, and the Heat go up by 2, 36-34 with 9:36. Carnes under center. Rolls right, looks back, throws to Meldrum. He's got the first down, and he's going to break.
He should have got out of bounds. He
should have.
The clock will stop as they set the chains.
They have to go throw. They have to go put it on the ground, and they got a chance. 15 seconds.
About 18 yards to Carnes.
It's a Sports Corner first down. Sports Corner first down, and it's second down with 12.8 seconds remaining from the 38-yard line.
To Meldrum, they're about 18 yards on that play, the 38-yard line now.
Meldrum gets out of bounds there. He saves them about 5 seconds probably, right?
Yep, but he should have got out of bounds, but heat of the moment, he's trying to gain extra yardage.
Well, and he thought it looked like for a split second he might have some room to run, but so now what do? Carnes back under center I formation.
Second you run the ball here, don't get it. You're going to run out of time.
Drops back to pass. Throws across the middle. Meldrum again. Going to get it across another Sports Corner first down. 6.7 seconds left. An 11-yard gain. Back to the line of scrimmage they go. They'll have to spike it again. And they spike it again.
4.2.
And it's one final play here coming for the Heat. Second and 10 from the 26. And we're going to see if what we talked about was right. Is it really the last team with the football? And I'll tell you what, 2 plays ago, when it was 4th and 10 or 4th and 9, you would have never thought they'd have been in this position with 4.2 seconds remaining.
26 yards away. Polo one last defensive play away from advancing. West Central 26 yards away.
And one offensive play, because you're not going to get a second offensive
this
play
is
here.
The game
this is
right
it
here.
That's right. Carnes up under center again. Going to pitch it out to Drosty. If you're going to go down, you're going to go down with your player. Drosty runs around the right side. He breaks free.
Drosty's going to go for a touchdown. The Heat advance. The Heat advance.
Drosty steps back inside, and it's a touchdown for the Heat. The pile is on. The game is over, and the Heat win 50-48. They do have to run the two-point conversion, though. They do have to do the
It was the community that really drew me back to Macomb. I'm from a small community, and I'm from a farm family, and ultimately I always wanted to practice in a place like that, and I felt that I had the ability to connect to people who with a similar background from me, and the fact that the staff members at the hospital and the support, all the support staff at the hospital was also focused with the goal of patient care. It felt like it just all came hammered at home for me.
And welcome back here, pregame show, and we're talking to Coach Kirby from West Central. Coach, boy, last week could not have gotten any more exciting. I know you have a great bunch of kids, But how was it hard at all to get them focused for this weekend?
Not a bit. It's surprisingly, in post-game, the kids were like, okay, 1-0. Next week, we got to go 1-0. That was fun, awesome. We'll remember it when we're down the road after graduation, later in the year, that sort of thing. But our mission isn't complete. And, you know what, we didn't say a word. We didn't. Coach Unruh was quick to me. He's like, hey, make sure on Monday. And I'm like, I know. Didn't have to say a word to them. They were ready to go.
We talked to Drosty after the game, and that kid is legit. You've got some really good kids on this team.
Yeah, amazing. I'm blessed. This is I get credit for leading this group. I don't have to lead this group. Right. They lead themselves. They're amazing. You know, they're not just amazing on the football field. They're amazing in the classroom. They're amazing in the hallways. They're amazing in the community. There's nothing that these kids won't accomplish, and that's a real indicator of why we've been successful. You know, they're such high-quality people that they refuse to lose, and they refuse to lose at anything, grades, football, anything. They want to be successful, and it's going to be hard to not be successful when that's the case.
Well, your communities really came alive for you in the last few weeks, but especially this week. All the communities in West Central, the businesses have been celebrating and been decorating and stuff like that. What can you say about a relatively spread out district that has really came together as one?
Well, you know, I think maybe you've seen it this week because it's been the spotlight, but our communities have been awesome all year. They're around asking what we need, begging to help out, being every part of the group that is just promoting all of our athletes at West Central. And you know, it's been amazing this week, don't get me wrong. I'm probably a little bit more this week with the painting of the windows and all that stuff around the place. But, you know, it's been special all year.
Well, let's talk about tonight's game. Mm-hmm. Most of these kids I don't think have played in a game that's going to be this cold. But it's a state championship game. Are they going to feel it a whole lot?
Well, I'll tell you what I said to our kids on Monday. You like to hunt? You like to fish? You guys work outside? Okay. This conversation's over. And it was at that point. Now, I did tell our kids that are staying on the sideline not going to play very much. You better be ready to be warm. But our kids that are going to be playing, maybe once they might say, ooh, it's kind of chilly. But, you know, those kids, they're going to be out in a deer stand tomorrow morning.
Right.
I guarantee you. You know, they will be in a deer stand tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon. And it's going to be cold. It's going to be windy. They ain't going to care because they want to go deer hunting. They're going to be fishing. They're going to be on a block of ice. Not going to bother them. They want to play football. They'll be just fine.
Right. You know, this is a great deal. I mean, it's fun, and you guys are having a chance to play for a state championship. Yep. Is it extra special that it's 25 miles from home or 30 miles from home?
It's 12 miles.
12 miles for some of them anyway, especially, right?
Yeah. It's pretty neat. You know, we said all along since we got into this gig, you know, we could see our goal from our driveway, and that's been pretty neat. You know, last year being right on the cusp of it and not being able to get past Polo, and then, you know, driving home the other day. When we pulled in, you know, you have to go through Monmouth in order to get home from Polo, and we pulled up to that stoplight, and I was like, look to your left. We're turning here next week. And that was pretty neat. It was. And, you know, here we are.
Amboy's not the same Amboy team you beat in Week 9. They got their quarterback back. Mm-hmm. Different things you're going to see different this week than you saw in Week 9?
I would expect we're going to see more quarterback run tonight than what we saw. And that's not because Tu isn't a very good athlete and a good runner, because he is. I think their coaches were a little more hesitant to do quarterback run when he was all they had. Mm-hmm. You know, with 3, now you have 2 in the bullpen as well. You know, you're not very hesitant to run number 3 when you know that you have such a good backup, somebody that's been so successful in the bullpen there. So we expect to see a lot of quarterback run. We prepared for that all week. They've shown that a little, but you know, before 3 got dinged up, they ran him. So we expect to see that tonight.
Well, good luck tonight. Stay warm on the side. Are you going to put more clothes on?
Nope, I'm ready.
That's what you're going to wear. You going to wear that in a deer stand tomorrow?
I ain't going deer hunting.
Yeah.
You
play football this, but you're not going deer hunting.
I'm going to go watch Unity Rockets qualify for the finals after we're successful tonight.
There you go. All right. Well, we'll be back on the pregame show in just a few minutes.
Well, I've always had an interest in the medical field, and then growing up, I actually went through physical therapy myself for an injury, and that got me back to playing my sports and the activities that I loved. So seeing that firsthand, I got to see how much physical therapy could really benefit others.
Welcome back to April Zorn Memorial Stadium on the campus of Monmouth College. Happy to have Nathan Believa with us now, the
SID.
You'd be the
Trying
AD.
to give me a promotion.
You'd be the AD if they'd let you, wouldn't you?
Sure, well, yeah,
Yeah, of course you would. But Nathan, awesome facility.
Thank you.
And awesome. You guys are so cordial, and you're so nice to have us here. You give us this great room and a great building, and you guys are really nice to this I8FA.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We enjoy having everybody here and hosting this, getting to have a night game. We had our first night game here at this facility back in September, and I don't want to say that the weather's better tonight, but there was a delay then, so we'll hope we don't have the delay. It was obviously a bit warmer. It was just very wet and lightning and all that.
You also had your first
something
Sunday
about the night
game.
games. We did have our first Sunday game.
That same night.
Since it went to 12:45 before we finished in the morning. But we love having this every year. We get some students out here to work. We get to show off our facility. To obviously this year West Central's pretty familiar with our facility. Right. Being pretty close, but getting to show it off to to different communities and different places. And John does a great job organizing everything. Makes it easy for us with him working with our AD Roger Haynes and usually our football coach Chad Braun. They're out at a bowl game. They left earlier today to head up to Wisconsin for the first ever Lakefront Bowl. We qualified for that. So football team's not here to kind of help and cheer on and do those things. But we're looking forward to a big game tonight.
Well, this stadium is gorgeous.
Thank you. Yeah, it's cool.
How awesome is it to be the SID at a D3 school with a stadium? I mean, athletic facilities in general here are just phenomenal.
It makes it easy when you can do things and you see what it's funny because you always see what other people have and you're like, oh, I wish I had that, but then you see what other people have and you're like, oh, well, we have more than them, and so we're right there in the middle. There's some things that we obviously have that other schools don't. There's a wish list that we obviously have that we want to get to, and that's part of this whole thing of what we're doing with athletics and with development and fundraising and all of that stuff that we do as being a Division III college, where you're not getting like U of I or Texas A&M or Alabama has with football facilities and all that. But at the same time, with what we've got, the resources we have available to us, I think we got some pretty cool stuff with the Huff Athletic Center, the indoor track, Glenny Gym, the pool there, some upgrades out at baseball, and softball had some recent upgrades. The tennis courts are brand new. The women just played on them for the first time in the fall. The men will play on them for the first time coming up in the spring. Those went in over the summer with some windscreens too, and really transform the tennis courts. And so different things happen kind of a step at a time, and that's what it's all about at the Division III level.
Well, I won't keep you very long. You're going to be the PA.
Yeah, people are going to hear me all night. I'm doing PA tonight, and got pronunciations from both coaches. They were great to work with, and
we'll have pronunciations are overrated.
That's right. We'll have the All-State teams at halftime, and then the awards at the end. So looking forward to a fun night.
All right, we'll let you get out of here. Thanks for being so hospitable.
Absolutely.
It's been great working with you and getting ready to go here, and we'll talk to you after the game.
Sounds good. Welcome back. Have a great call.
All right, we'll be back in just a couple minutes.
MDH Sport Medicine Rehab is just not for the athlete. We see a variety of ages, getting them from having pain to no pain to get back to their normal activities and their prior level of function.
And we're back here. We're going to have some highlights from Amboy's win last week. And you can see they played the Sabres. And they St. Thomas More didn't have a whole lot of answers for the Clippers as Welchel went for a TD run in just a few seconds as Brennan Blaine made a great catch right there. But you'll see Welchel go on a touchdown run for the Clippers right there. You'll hear that name quite a few times in these highlights. I want to thank Kenny Suter, who's back doing some basketball for us tonight, as this time he's going to go around right side, break a couple tackles, and Welchel's going to go in for another touchdown run. And then he'll have a third one in a row in this next highlight, this time going right to left. And he's going to outrun the defense of St. Thomas More and go for the nice long touchdown run there, as Amboy kind of dominated this game in many ways over the St. Thomas More Sabres. Here's Lindenmeyer to Blaine for a touchdown. And tiptoeing, doing a little ballerina action on the sideline right there as he goes in for the score. Leffelman now is going to go in for a couple touchdowns. This is a whole lot of offense, as we've got people messaging us trying to figure out how to get online here. So we apologize for that. Leffelman again for a touchdown. You see the hands go up before he's ever in on the sidelines. That's when you know it's a good run right there, when the side is calling the touchdown before it even happens. And here is Lindenmeyer connecting with Blaine for a last second before the first half touchdown. Goes up and catches it over the top of a Sabres defender. And you see 48-22 there. Here's Blaine with a strip sack. Knocks it away. And the Clippers come up with it. Amboy dominating St. Thomas More in this semifinal. Welchel goes for a big run now again. He breaks a few tackles and then outruns the defense to get a big first down to help ice the game. The snow last week was the big thing. Leffelman gets in here for the final touchdown run, and that'll be the highlights for this Amboy St. Thomas More game. We'll take a very quick break, and we'll be right back in just a second on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.
I went through MDH when we were trying to get pregnant. We were struggling the first year, and then when we got pregnant, I stayed at MDH and through labor and now for pediatrics. My experience was nothing short of phenomenal. I was met with amazing staff members who helped me through concerns that I had when she was first born, helping me learn how to be a new mom. It was really reassuring and comforting knowing that I had so much support and kindness around me. My entire pregnancy at MDH was amazing.
And welcome back to the pregame show here on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH. We got Coach Payne from Amboy. And, well, Coach, you weren't the number one seed, but you came from the number one seed side, and you guys have been playing really well in the postseason.
Yeah, we have. We got our senior quarterback back for the first round, and since he's came back, this whole team's come together, and we've been playing really good football. And once you get in the playoffs, everyone has the same record, and I told the kids seeds don't matter. Everyone's 0-0 from the start, and anything can happen. Now,
you guys had your close game in week 2 in the playoffs. You guys kind of cruised a little more in week 3. West Central had their really close game in week 3. Where do you think you stand, knowing that you came off a little, I don't want to say easier because that's not the way to do it, but it's not, it's kind of like when you win by a lot, it made it look easy. Well, you made it look easy, but I'm sure it wasn't. But you had to look at things one way coming in, but I'm guessing since you had West Central on week 9 and they handled you pretty well, you didn't have any problems getting the kids up for this week.
Oh, no. The kids, they wanted to play these guys again after week 9, and week 9 we didn't play very well. The game got out of hand pretty quickly, and once West Central made 2 or 3 big plays, it just snowballed from there. And after that game, I told the kids, forget about it. It's done. It's over. The new season starts next week, and let's get ready to go, and we'll get another shot at them. And they responded really well.
Well, I know that this weather tonight's a little less than ideal. I would imagine that most of these kids haven't played in weather this cold. What did you tell them during the week leading up to tonight to get them ready for what this might be like tonight?
I just said you can't let the weather control how you play. We practiced outside all week. It was pretty cold all week and snowing. And, I said, we're going to be playing in this, so we got to get used to the element. And I said, once the game starts and your adrenaline gets going, I said the weather's not going to bother you at all.
So you got number 3 back. That's kind of important for you, right?
Yeah.
How does he change your dynamic? I'm sure it's more than just the fact that he's on the field. Talked to Coach Kirby a few minutes ago, and he said he didn't feel like you ran number 2 as much as you would have if you had number 3 behind him. So does that open up your playbook a little bit more for this week?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Tucker is one of those players where when we go spread and drop back to pass and the play breaks down, he can make plays happen. And, that's something you can't coach or teach. And he's been doing that for 2 years, and he does a really good job of it. And, Coach Kirby was right. In Week 9, we didn't run 2 because our backup quarterback to him is a freshman. So, you had to hold it back a little bit. But, in this game, it's everything's out there on the table, and we're going to throw everything we got at them.
I don't think West Central brings anything to the table that you don't already expect, right? How do you stop that offense?
That's a good question. They got a 3-headed monster there with the quarterback, fullback, and tailback. They're all 3 really good players, and it's all about assignment football because they run the option so well. And we worked all week long on our defensive ends, linebackers, making sure this is your assignment. You got to do your job, and just everybody else rally to the football. It's a tough offense to stop. They run about 4 or 5 plays, but they run them really well. They're very well coached. Coach Kirby's a great coach. I've known him for years, and it's right now it's just up to the kids. It's a state championship, and if they're not ready for this, then I don't know what else I have to do to get them ready.
Pretty cool environment, I think, tonight. Do you think that the cold will affect the crowds any?
No. Everyone I've talked to in Amboy all week has been going out and buying all those heated coats and pants. And, we're going to have a very big crowd here tonight. Everyone in Amboy, they gave us a big send-off today and did a great pep rally last night. And, we always travel well in away games for football. And I think tonight, since it's been 38 years since Amboy's been in a state championship, I think there's going to be a lot more fans here for us.
Well, I know that a lot of people contacted us, and there'll be a lot of names people are going to see scroll across the screen. The community has stepped up more than just by showing up tonight or whatever. They've stepped up, I think, all week, and they're really proud of what you guys are doing.
Oh, yeah, the community is so proud of these boys. Last night at the pep rally, I could just see it in, the way they accepted the boys and everything they did for them. And the whole community has come together. Everyone is just so proud of this team and what they've accomplished so far. And, they're just happy to see these boys have the success that they're having. And, the community has been great. It's I can't even put into words how great the Amboy community has been this past week.
Now, Coach Kirby has a little less on than you, but not much less on. Are you going to put anything heavier on?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I got more clothes in the locker room.
He said he's not going to.
No, I'm going to. I got a couple more things I'm going to put on. But
now, I asked him, are you going deer hunting in the morning?
I only bow hunt. I don't
You only bow hunt. So you're going to try to get a little warmer in the morning.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get a little warmer in the morning.
Well, now, I heard another rumor that you guys, some of your kids on your sidelines might be wearing polo coats tonight.
Yes,
is that true?
Yes, that's true. Polo was very nice to give us their sideline coats and let us wear them. And, Ted asked me, come up to me when we got here. He goes, it says polo on there. And I said, if you ask my kids that, I don't think they're going to care as long as they're warm. So,
right.
It was very nice polo to do that, and we appreciate it very much.
The old NUIC schools and all you guys up in that area, you're like huge rivals, but it seems like you've all got each other's backs when needed to.
Oh yeah. We're rivals when it comes to Friday nights, but in the other night, we all help each other out. We all get along with each other, and it's a great little conference to be a part of. And we all do whatever we can to help each other out.
Well, Coach, good luck tonight. We'll talk to you afterwards, win or lose, but for your sake, we'll hope it's a win.
Let's hope so. Thank you.
We'll be back on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH Pregame show here from Monmouth College in just a couple minutes. I forgot to do. I forgot to turn us up. Apparently, I didn't want anybody to talk to us or listen to us. People are probably going to be sick of listening to me by the end of the night anyway. Kyle Kampmeyer from NUIC Football on Facebook and YouTube, and he's the man of the people in Northern football, Northern Illinois football.
That's right.
You're pretty busy this weekend.
Very busy this weekend.
What's I'm going to ask this, but I already know the answer, but what's the game most you're looking forward to?
Well, tonight's this one, but I'm definitely looking forward to the Lena Winslow Forston game tomorrow as well for the NUIC purposes to see who wins that one to get a shot at state down in Champaign next week. So that should be a good one too.
You guys, I saw you post on Facebook today that you have to lean towards Amboy because NUIC ties. Now that group of teams up there in towns and schools, they're huge rivals. But, man, like Polo's letting Amboy use their jackets tonight because Amboy doesn't have sideline coach. I mean, they fight like heck on the field, but then they help each other off.
Yeah, it's great community support up there. I was actually talking to Coach Alston earlier tonight already, and he had stated that Coach Payne said that they didn't have the sideline coats, and he was more than willing to offer them. That way the kids can stay warm, especially with the game time temperatures the way they are tonight, being sub-20 out there. It's pretty cold, so they're going to need them.
Well, that's one of the things. I mean, you've been covering football a long time. I've been covering football a long time. I don't think that – I went to some games in mid-20s with snow and stuff like that, but if it gets sub-20 or whatever, I don't know that I've seen it that cold before.
Yeah, I think I've had one other game where it's been this cold, and it wasn't very pretty then. I was already down on the field once tonight, and my fingertips are still feeling it a little bit, so I can't imagine being those players out there tonight.
Well, every little slap is going to hurt a little more probably, right?
Yeah, it does a little bit unless you're already warm, but at the same time, you get acclimated really quick to it, especially when your body temperature raises. So at some point after the initial kickoff, they're not even going to notice the temperature.
Well, what's your take on the two teams? Not asking you to pick a winner right now, but what's your take on West Central and what's your take on Amboy?
Well, obviously, Amboy is very good. In our NUICfootball.com state rankings earlier this year, they were number 1 until they lost to MCP in week 4. And, very explosive team. They're a team where we thought this was a very good possibility for them coming into the preseason. And they've definitely lived up to that. Obviously, quarterback Tucker Lindenmeyer missed quite a bit of time there after that week 4 injury that he had, and he just came back here at the start of the playoffs. So very explosive team, very physical team as well up front. West Central on the other side of the ball, very fast, very fast. They, too, have a very physical line. Very excited for this game simply for the fact that you have two very physical teams in this game. Obviously, we still hear a lot of the haters out there that say 8-man football is not real football, but I think if you pay attention to what's going on tonight, you're going to realize it's real football.
Drosty has over 3,000 yards in his, the 12 games now or whatever.
Yeah.
And, that kid is just lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, I was able to take a look at him live against Milledgeville and then again last week in their semifinal game against Polo, and he is, as advertised, very fast on the offensive side of the ball, and obviously he gets a lot of credit there, but I think where he gets undercredited is his speed on the defensive side of the ball. Kid's got about 125 tackles on the year as well on the defensive side, so very electric on both sides.
They have a fullback and a quarterback that's not too bad that probably helps him be out above and beyond his, what his normal just physical abilities would get him.
I agree. I mean, you take a look at Mason Carnes at quarterback, big body size. If you watch some of their plays, their toss plays, where then once he tosses that ball out, he gets out and becomes a lead blocker like a fullback. And then with Parker Meldrum at that fullback position getting out in front as well, they basically take an option-style offense and have put it into the 8-man style of play, using that quarterback as that second running back to get out on that lead block. So very impressive.
Well, they showed they could throw a little bit if they absolutely have to, too.
Yeah, you take a look at Carnes. He's throwing for about 465 yards, roughly around 52% completion percentage. So when they need to get it done, they get it done. A couple of their guys definitely have hit a couple home runs, so to speak, on the season on some big pass plays as well.
Lindenmeyer has got the ability to do that a little bit, too. He did some of that last week.
I'm really hoping that Tucker is 100% healthy, because he is one of the most electrifying players in all of 8-man. You take a look at what he's capable of doing. I mean, their week 1 win over Polo, he single-handedly won that game for them. He had 2 passing touchdowns, another rushing touchdown, just able to take control, does a great job of being able to look downfield. At the same time, when he sees the pocket open, he's going to take off and dart right through that. But it's one of the things with this West Central team. Their speed is very good at being able to try to contain that too.
Okay, it's about time to call it quits on the show. I've heard close, big win. West Central seems to be like they're going to be the favorite. What's your take on tonight?
I definitely have West Central as the favorite by 14 points. So I think that West Central would be the favorite coming in this game. 2 touchdown winners. We'll see how it plays out. Obviously, a couple weeks ago they played in Week 9, 68-30. I don't think we're going to quite see that game. I think Amboy's going to have some things up their sleeve, ready to go. They've already seen what the monster is, so to speak, so they're going to be more prepared for it this time around. It should be a good game. Obviously, with it this cold, anything's possible. You got to be on top of your game. We saw that last week. We saw West Central enter that semifinal game with Polo as a big favorite, and it was a 2-point game that they snuck out in the last seconds of the game. You actually called it. Great call, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. It was fun. That's as much fun as I've ever had calling a game, I'll guarantee that. Probably that'll be one I remember forever. Kyle, thanks for joining us. Everybody, thanks for joining us here on TSSR Game Time Live presented by MDH. That'll do it for our pregame show live from April Zorn Memorial Stadium on the campus of Monmouth College in Monmouth, Illinois. The Rockford Mutual I8FA State Championship game presented by State Line Insurance Agency will be up in about 15 minutes right here on TSSR Game Time Live presented by MDH. You can check out of this stream and click into that one. We'll be back in about 15 minutes.